Hell yeah, motherfuckers. Hell Machine right there, dude. Brand new track called Devil Spawn from the new record Relentless Aggression. Let's call these motherfuckers up right the fuck now and see what the fuck is going on in their world, man. Hello? Hell Machine.
How's it going?
Dude, what's going on, man?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you great, man.
Oh, excellent. Not much, just hanging out on a Saturday, enjoying a coffee.
Fuck yeah, dude. We just got done blasting Devil Spawn, man. That shit was fucking badass, dude. Tell us, man.
Oh, cheers.
Hell yeah, cheers. Tell us what's going on in the world of Hell Machine, man.
We just recorded and released our second full-length album, Relentless Aggression.
Fuck yeah, man. So, well, give us a little bit of backstory about it, man. Like, how did you guys get started and how did this all come about?
I started the band about 5 years ago, just as a solo project, just playing, like writing and recording my own stuff. And it was all just through bass because I'm just a bass player, I'm not a guitar player. So I started just seeing how far I could push that sound, just recording my demos and stuff. And then I got my drummer, Mal Machine, involved, and he was pretty keen on the project. And we became a live band after that and started doing a few gigs around. We recorded our first album, Merciless Hate, about 3 years ago, and just really enjoyed it. Weren't really done there, so we really wanted to push to do the second album. So yeah, worked really hard on it for the last couple of years, and now we've seen it all come to fruition.
Fuck yeah, man. So you guys, it's just a two-piece. How did that work out as far as playing live?
It's great because no one is ever late and you never have to rely on anyone else, and we always sound tight as, because we're a bass player and a drummer. So
it's still just the two of you guys on stage?
Just two of us on stage. Basically, everything is done live. I've got a bit of a pedal board set up, and the main gist of the pedal board is that I split my bass signal through an octave pedal, and then I run that second signal through a guitar cab as well. So when we're playing live, we've got two cabs going, guitar and bass, and they're both putting out two different tones. So there's actually a guitar tone and actually a bass tone, and it's all live, and it sounds huge.
Wow. You know, I know I read that you guys were a two-piece, but I didn't put it together. Like when I was listening to it in my ears, it just sounded like a full band. Like I was imagining that you guys just sat there and played each instrument and recorded it all together, you know? Like I didn't know it was just literally just two instruments, drums and bass.
Yeah.
That's fucking
like badass. Initially when I wanted to do the bands, there's some people who use overdubs and some people do, other stuff live, but I just really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to track a guitar and have it going, and you can have issues with that, and I just don't really feel like it's true. Like some bands do it, I have nothing against it, but just really wanted to just do an actual true two-piece. So yeah, even on the record, we actually used another splitter pedal and recorded everything. Everything is true live sounds, no reamping, anything. We actually used two guitar cabs and a bass cab and just tracked everything live in the room.
Wow. What for the gearheads out there that are probably wondering right now, like what kind of cabs and gear did you use to get those sounds?
I believe on the album we used the two guitar heads. We used 6105 and I think it was a Black Star for the heads, and then for the bass I used my Ampeg rig with a Mark bass cab.
Nice. All right, so I gotta ask you about this album cover, man, because it's fucking awesome, dude. You got this fucking like double-headed demon He's holding a fucking big ass fucking axe with a pentagram on it and shit, dude. It's fucking metal as fuck, man. Who did this? Who did this art for you?
It's a bloke by the name of Daniel Shaw. Goes by Sawblade, and he's done a lot of other work for. I think he's from Texas somewhere. So yeah, he's an American bloke, but been a big fan of his art for a while. Like, he's done some stuff for Toxic Holocaust, Municipal Waste, Insect Warfare, a lot of other bands I really like, and I've just saw his stuff and always really dug his style, like almost exclusively black and white, and he does a lot of just evil satanic stuff. And I actually wanted to get him on the first album we did, but his price was way too high, and this time around we had a little bit more money behind us, so he was my first choice, and he said yes straight away. So I was stoked when he said yes, and I just gave him the idea, and he ran with it, and just, yeah, did an amazing job. Like, it's pretty much what I wanted out of the cover, for someone to just pick it up and look at it and go, wow, that's badass. Like, I want to listen to that album. So I think he definitely pulls that off.
Yeah, for sure, man. And now that you're telling me that it's you know, that it's just a 2-piece, it's just the two of you guys. I'm looking at the cover right now, and I'm thinking, is that like a representation? That demon, is that a representation of like you guys together, like this two-headed fucking beast, fucking standing on a
pretty
pile?
Much.
Hell yeah, dude.
Pretty much. That was kind of. It's actually based on. We've got the album closer, Hammer of Hate. And it's kind of just about hating the world and hating society and people. But that was kind of like the anthropomorphic idea of us just destroying everything and, you know, getting rid of everything that pisses us off. So, you know, we are like the two-headed demon just crushing everything in our wake, you know?
Yeah. It's fucking awesome, man. All right. Well, for people out there that want to find out more information about you guys, go fucking support the band, get some merch, stuff like that. Where should they go? Where's the best place to go?
We do all of our own merch, all of our own sales and that. The biggest platform we use is Bandcamp. I believe we're under hellmachine.bandcamp.com.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow Facebook and Instagram, all those, you know, social media footholds, you can pretty easily find our way. Everything kind of funnels you into our Bandcamp page, and, you know, everything's all on there. We've got patches, CDs, all the new album and everything, physical and digital copies. So yeah, just a couple of clicks away.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, man. You guys even have a USB key.
Yeah, we did those for the first album launch, and we had a couple of left, so we actually put both albums on the USB key. So you get the USB key, you can chuck it in your car or on your computer, and the album just pops up straight away, and it's got both albums on it this time around. And you can put whatever else you want on there too. So it's both functional and badass.
That is cool, man. Any chance of this album getting put on vinyl?
We actually have the order in at the moment for the vinyl, but we're holding off on releasing the pre-sales because there's a massive shortage in vinyl at the moment in this country. So we were told 18 to 20 weeks away. So, you know, what's that, 3-4 months, and we only just finalized all the, you know, the printing process about 3 weeks ago. So sometime next year we're going to do it. So we're not quite going to release it now, but it is definitely going to happen.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. The whole vinyl thing, like right now, it's all over the news, dude. Like everywhere, man. It's just there's this massive shortage, and it's fucking it's fucked up.
Yeah, I think with this whole COVID thing, there's a lot of bands that are producing albums lately, and especially these days, vinyl is so much more, you know, a bigger platform than it ever used to be. Like now, vinyl in the last couple of years has outsold CDs and outsold vinyl from decades ago. It's the thing that people want to get. So naturally, I think those two things combined with more bands doing stuff and more bands printing on vinyl, it's just, big shortage everywhere.
Oh yeah, man. So how has the as far as the pandemic goes, like how has that affected you guys? Has it affected you guys much, or?
I think, like probably most bands in the world, it's pretty royally screwed us over. Australia's quite we're a funny country, like especially where we come from. We are smack bang in the middle of the country. So we come from the desert in Alice Springs, right in central Australia. So the closest city for us to drive to is about 1,400 kilometres away, which is up north in Darwin. So for us to do any kind of real gigging that isn't locally, we've got to fly or drive, more than 1,000 kilometres away. And we had quite a few shows booked next year. Sorry, we had some shows booked last year that were all cancelled because of all the lockdowns and all the COVID stuff, because every state kind of manages their state differently, and basically at one point every state was locked down, everyone was locking out every other state, so we just couldn't travel around. Like we booked tickets to do a few shows, and we had to, the show was cancelled, we had to cancel the tickets, lost money, lost all kinds of things. So I think we had 5 out of our 6 interstate shows cancelled last year, all because of COVID.
Damn. Well, I gotta ask you, man. Since bass guitar is obviously the main. Well, it's the only instrument. That's the spotlight in this. As far as the riff is concerned, man. Who's some of your favorite bass guitarists? Like, who influenced you?
Definitely from an early age, like one of the biggest ones, Steve Harris from Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
He's got, the finger technique, and like I don't know if you can tell on the album, but I don't use a pick or anything. Everything is just fingers. So he was one of the bass players that really kind of pushed me or inspired me to play that kind of style. He does lots of little licks, lots of little runs, very melodic, and he just pummels. Like his right hand action is amazing. Like he just never lets up. So I played a lot of Iron Maiden early on. Obviously Cliff Burton from Metallica. He's fingers as well, but he does lots of lead stuff. He really played the bass like a lead instrument to me. Stuff like Anesthesia. Like when I first heard that song, I didn't even know it was a bass. Like, so yeah. Cliff Burton and Steve DiGiorgio from Death is also a massive influence on me.
Yeah,
he's obviously another shredder who just plays fingers, but just he can play those 30-second notes seamlessly, and just you hear those little bass licks and his bass tone just stick out in a lot of the stuff he plays. Like, and it's really up the front. So those kind of lead bass players were really the inspiration for me. Playing when I started playing when I was a lot younger.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, Steve DiGiorgio is badass too, man. I actually had him on the show earlier this year, man. He's a really cool dude too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He seems like a really, really top bloke. Like, and he's just an amazing player. Like every project he's done, he's just seems to crop up in something new or another band or something else he's got going on, and it's always awesome. Like I just sit there wide-eyed when I listen to him and just amazed at what he can produce on a bass. It's incredible, particularly the old stuff like Death and Sadist. I was really, really into. Mm-hmm. So that I feel like that shines through a lot in Hell Machine.
Hell yeah. And of course, Cliff Burton, man, fucking, you're right though. Like he definitely played it like a lead instrument. And there's actually so many different parts in some of those older Metallica songs from those first few records where he played the bass like a lead guitar in the song. And when you're listening to it, you don't recognize that's actually him. Like I think he does it in Orion too.
Yeah, he does like 2 solos in Orion. The first little lead lick in Orion, like he plays that, and he actually does a full. I think it's the first solo section after the kind of slow instrumental part. He comes in with that and just just this amazing solo. And I didn't realize for years it was actually bass. But you listen back to it when you know it's bass, it's so obvious. But yeah, he just was leagues ahead of a lot of other people at his time, and really outshine even the other guys in Metallica.
Yeah, for sure, man. And Iron Maiden, dude, like that was, Number of the Beast was the first record that really got me into metal. I mean, I was already, I was watching MTV in the early 80s, seeing stuff like Twisted Sister and shit like that. But I remember a cousin came over and he was like, you got to check this out. And I was just a little kid, and he brought over this record, and it was Number of the Beast, and he put it on the turntable and started playing it, and I just sat there and listened to it with the headphones on and went into a whole nother world. And I mean, I've been a fan of them ever since, man. Fuck.
Yeah, they were a really influential band for me when I was a lot younger. I picked up bass, I think, 15, 16, and they were one of the first bands that I really, really started listening to. That got me into the more old school kind of metal and, traditional metal, which I'm a massive fan of these days. And Number of the Beast is just a bloody... You can't touch that album. Like, it's amazing. Even these days, it still holds up so well. You can give that to anyone who's never heard metal or anything, and they love it because it's, just a solid album.
Yeah, it really is, man. All right, dude, I got some questions for you coming in from the listeners. Lady Red wants to know, what do you prefer, blood baths or showers?
Oh, I don't have a bloodbath, so I usually take showers.
Right. Another next question. Secret Weapon wants to know, who taps the most groupies in the band?
I don't know. Probably, I reckon Mal used to, but we're both tied up at the moment, so we've got our own permanent groupies at the moment.
Next question. Carl wants to know, have you had any tech or pyrotechnic disasters happen while performing live?
Unfortunately, no pyrotechnics, but we have had quite a few tech malfunctions because of the nature of Hell Machine. My pedal board setup. I'm obviously running a few different pedals, and there's a bit going on there. And we did a tour for our first album about 3 years ago, and long story short, the guitar signal kept dropping out, and there's just some ghosts in my pedal board. I tried rerouting pedals, different power supply, tried tweaking the amps, and for the first couple of shows would be mid-set, and then just the guitar would die. And really frustrating in that, and we managed to kind of sort it out in the end. But yeah, I'd say that was probably the most frustrating one in the early days, really locking down my pedal board setup and making sure that it's working properly and spitting out the right tone.
Hell yeah. Another question from the listeners. Vicky wants to know, have you ever been to Canada?
I have been to Canada, actually. 10 years ago. I got a couple of mates living over there. I did a lot of traveling in my early 20s, so I went over to had some mates living in Alberta, and they lived just outside of Edmonton, so I went and hung out with them, a couple of metalheads, and just partied with them for a bit, and I believe I went across to BC, Vancouver Island. Yeah, really beautiful country.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you guys could play anywhere in the world, where would you like to play?
I mean, ideally, it'd be really great to get over to Europe, like anywhere, probably particularly Germany. That the kind of music scene, the festival scene there in summer is nothing compared to what we have in Australia. So ideally, we'd really like to go over and do some shows in Europe, somewhere in Germany. Something in Germany would be really awesome.
Fuck yeah. If you could tour with anybody, who would you like to tour with?
Oh, that's a tough one. Who do I want to tour with? Most of the bands I know, most of the bands I'm a fan of now are all kind of like getting old and debunked and, dying or whatever. But, I know Merciful Fate are doing their final tour now. Touring with Merciful Fate would be pretty killer.
Oh, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I really hope they come around here and do a show. But I mean, I don't know. I don't see it happening. But I do see them doing, a few shows at like festivals and stuff in Europe. It's so fucking badass. I wish they would put out a new record.
Yeah, I reckon they still got one in them, but we'll see. Only time will tell, I guess. This whole COVID nonsense is kind of really ruining a lot of stuff, and I know King's been sick for the last few years, so it's probably their last chance of really doing a proper, kind of tour or anything. So
yeah,
it'd be pretty nice to see that.
Yeah, I've definitely been thinking that something's up because he released that single. Was it Masquerade of Madness? I think it was called. What was that? Like 2 years ago, and it was supposed to be for a new King record, but then it never came out. And then the whole fucking pandemic happened, and it's just like everybody just went off into obscurity. So
I think definitely, everyone keeps talking about it, but this whole pandemic thing has just turned, the music industry as a whole on its head. No one can really plan ahead. No one really knows where they're going. And I think a lot of bands, it's, force them to assess what they're doing with their futures. So, yeah, it's pretty shit house, but it'd be nice if it turns around sometime soon.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of that, what kind of plans do you guys have for the future?
We've got a couple of shows booked next year, obviously only in Australia because that's the only thing we can foresee us staying in. But, I've got 2 festivals on the cards. One in Adelaide here in South Australia, really awesome festival called Churches of Steel, run by a good mate of ours from Chris McThrashy from Hidden Intent, another sick Australian thrash band. And another festival in Sydney, Steel Assassins. That's going into their 10th year. Predominantly, it's a true metal, underground heavy metal festival. In Australia, there's not much emphasis on the traditional styles and old school styles of heavy metal. So, yeah, we're pretty excited to play that one. That's going to be a killer festival. And trying to book a few more shows to do with our album release. So, yeah, still in the midst of booking a few more, but we've definitely got those 2 locked in.
Hell yeah. Well, I got to give a shout out to my brother Scott at Clawhammer PR for hooking us up with doing this interview, man. And I got to ask you also, how did you guys get hooked up with him?
I actually got hooked up with Scott through a mutual friend of ours, or a mutual kind of contacts. We've got a local radio station here, and a friend of mine, Lindsay, he's got his own heavy metal radio show called Eruption. And he does lots of, he gets stuff from all over the world, deals with all these different PR agencies and plays a lot of really good stuff on his station. And we've been friends for quite a while just through the music scene and that. And when we were talking about releasing this album, because we're just an independent band, Lindsay straight away kind of said, I think I know this, PR agency, like this guy who might be really into your music, who might really want to hook you up. And he actually put in a good word with us with Scott, and Scott jumped on it straight away, which is awesome. He's super keen on the release and everything. He's been really awesome to deal with. Seems like top bloke. So cheers, Scott, for hooking us up with you, Zach, and all the other stuff you've been doing for us. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's badass, man. Like I don't even know where he came from. Like, to be honest with you, as soon as I started doing internet radio, he was just in my inbox. Like it just happened. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is awesome. Just sending me stuff. He's been sending me stuff for years though, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, he seems very proactive, very passionate, and stoked that he's picked up our stuff and he's doing a killer job spreading the Hell Machine word for us. So yeah, great job, Scott, if you're listening.
Hell yeah. Yeah, as soon as I seen, you know what? It was the name Hell Machine that drew my attention, and I clicked on it, and then I looked at the album cover, and I was like, Scott, are these guys are they down for interviews, man? He was like, hell yeah. So, hell yeah, man.
That's exactly what we were trying to achieve with the name and the album cover artwork.
Well, it
so
did.
You know exactly when when you got Hell Machine, you're like, oh, dude, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it works, man. It works. All right. Well, I guess I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to add? Let the people know.
I don't know. If you dig our music and you dig the tune before, head over to our Bandcamp, get a digital copy of the album, and we just hope you enjoy the music. Thanks, Zach.
Hey, thanks
for having me on.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, man. Before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag?
Oh, right. What's Metal Devastation, huh?
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, say something like, this is Hell Machine, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
This is Dave Hellraiser, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah, man. Perfect. All right, dude. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blast some more Hell Machine for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, all right?
Heck yeah. Thanks, Zach.
Hey,
Appreciate
thank you.
it, bro.
Thank you, man. Cheers, and we'll talk to you later, brother.
Legend. Have a good one.
You too, man. There you have it, folks. Hell Machine live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your driveways. If you're living in the basement, duct tape your fucking speakers to the ceiling and crank this motherfucking shit up loud. This is Hell Machine with She Demon.